Charles Swartz, 323 East Washington Avenue, Newtown Corporation Board Member. I'm at a kind of a crossroad with where I need to be with this whole situation because I have personal feelings and I have feelings as a board member and the need to express my own opinion and the need to get some ideas across. I think the biggest thing about this is that Newtown Corporation over the past several months, in its own mind, has taken a new direction, and they want to be a chamber of commerce. And I think that's what they're looking to become. They're no longer looking at the joint obligation that they had between Newtown Borough and Newtown Township to support and maintain the antiquity and the historic and aesthetic architecture of Newtown Borough and the Township along State Street and Sycamore Street. They have become more interested in what's going on in the industrial park, the shopping centers, and the new things that are being done in and around Newtown rather than concentrating on what my feeling is and what I've been told by them is the heart of Newtown, which is Newtown Borough and State Street. The obligation that they have and that they took when they took over Newtown Corporation was to, as Mike has said, to be the fiduciary responsibility people to take care of the funds that have been raised from the public through different aspects and through different things that the residents and the corporation has done. One of them being the Brewfest. The application that was filed before the state, to my understanding, was that that application was to allow for them to do a special interest fundraiser for the historic and architectural beautification and maintenance of State Street. So from that standpoint, all the funds that have been raised by Brewfest under the state auspices and the LCB, those funds that have been raised need to go back to State Street. Whether that's been done in the past or done in the future, it really is no obligation because the LCB needs to come in and do an audit of that, and if they find that those funds have gone elsewhere through other things into other issues, then that's going to be something that's going to be to the detriment of Newtown Corporation. The hardest thing for me, being a board member and also being a resident and someone that's worked hard for this, is to watch the negative publicity that's been coming out in the past several months. And I have expressed my opinion to several members of the Newtown Corporation that all of these things are things that the Newtown Corporation has brought upon itself. It is not something that the residents, the business people, Borough Council, the Township, or anything that they are inflicting upon Newtown Corporation. All of the actions and the things that the newspaper is reporting on and doing are basically things that the Newtown Corporation has done to themselves. With that in mind, the hardest thing that needs to be done then is to decide how to protect the assets of Newtown Corporation. And I'm not sure there really is a way to do that. I'm not a legal person. I'm a businessman. So I really don't know whether that is something that can be done. But those funds that were raised by the Brewfest through the LCB auspices and the license that we had, those funds need to go back to State Street. And I think that's the biggest thing that, unfortunately, I don't think several of the members of the Newtown Corporation comprehend or understand, that that's something that needs to be done. So the problem that we have is, as I said, is protecting our funds, the funds that were raised and that are there. I don't think the present board understands that, nor do I think that they wish to do that, because I think they have their own agenda for what Newtown Corporation should be, and I do believe, from what I have been told and what I have listened to, sitting in the meetings that I've been to, that they want this to become a larger based organization, to be a chamber of commerce for the greater part of Newtown, i.e. including the industrial park and all the shopping centers around. I thank you for your interest. I thank you for your support. I also thank you for taking it and working with it here tonight. And I think, as Becky said, the most important thing is that it's got to come to an end, because the infighting, the negative publicity, the things that are happening within the community between the borough business people, the township business people, the things that are going on are doing nothing more than creating a negative eye in the public of what Newtown is. And that's been my biggest detriment, and I find the most disconcerting for me as a businessman and as a resident, lifelong resident of Newtown. So anything that can be done to hasten that project, that can end the infighting and take it to the level that it needs to be put to bed, the sooner the better as far as I'm concerned. So if the borough needs to do what they need to do, then so be it. Go for it, and let's get it accomplished as soon as we possibly can. Thank you.
I'm curious about this LCB control over the funds. This is the first time hearing that, and I don't completely understand what that means and what impact it might have on our ability to capture any of those funds for the benefit of Newtown Borough or its business association. And I'm sure that's one of the items that we're going to have our solicitor take a look at. Again, which is why I'm saying I don't feel that I have enough information to make an informed decision about what council can do before we get to doing something. It's an open-ended item in my mind. I mean, if there's $50,000 or $100,000 in there and the LCB comes in and says all of those funds have to go back to Newtown Borough, what is the township going to do? I mean, there are a lot of things hanging up in the air in my mind that could have a profound impact on the position we may take to shut down the Newtown Corporation. It could end up costing us a lot more than what's there, and in what position will the township take with respect to those funds? Because like any other corporation, money becomes fungible at some point. And a complete audit would have to be done of the books and records of the Newtown Corporation. A complete understanding as how those funds were mingled or commingled, and how they were allocated and how they were spent. I don't think I know enough about it. And obviously, Josh, you don't know anything about it because you didn't see the books and records. I really haven't seen the books and records of the Newtown Corporation. I don't know if Paul has seen the books and records of the Newtown Corporation, but I think, we're close, but we're not there yet. And I think absent input from the township, because the townships love to get their back up and sue us for taking inappropriate action. And, I'm not ready to go to war with the township right now if there's an easier way of solving the problem. And I would agree with John. I think one more attempt at trying to put the right people around the right table to have a discussion that might lead to some logical conclusion. And yes, it may well involve Paul Cohen. I think we should take that step before we take the step that we currently have a motion on.
I'm going to, call the question. I was going to ask Perry if he would like to repeat his motion.
Something about legal action.
Did you take careful notes there, Marcia? Would you like to read it back?
I started getting part of it, but I don't have it all.
Let's take a shot at it and see if it sounds familiar. I move that Borough Council authorize the solicitor to proceed with any and all legal and/or equitable action against the Newtown Corporation and/or any or all of its members of the Board of Directors, if applicable, with the specifics of the nature and extent of the action to be discussed and determined in an executive session. Held,
Okay.
well,
Yeah.
hopefully held tonight, but let's not make
Okay,
that part.
yeah,
Let's not
okay,
make that part of the
okay,
motion.
Okay. All right, we have the motion. It's been
That-
seconded. Yes?
Is that
That's
pretty well jived with your notes?
pretty good.
Marcia?
Pretty
Okay.
close. Okay, the intent was there. Okay. Did you have a comment to make? Okay. All right. Okay, going to call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay. That was 4 ayes, 2 nays. Motion carries.